Hello, everybody. This is Toni Turner, and welcome to the market now as of Friday, October 25th at about 12:45 p.m. Eastern. Well, the rally in U.S. stocks is wobbling just a little bit as it confronts a stretch of potentially market-shaking events starting next week with corporate results from tech titans and the closely watched employment report, while the U.S. election is also nearing. The benchmark S&P 500, as we've talked about before, is up about 22% on the year so far, but has edged back just slightly from record high levels in recent days. Still, equities remained at elevated valuations, which could make stocks vulnerable should any of the near-term market events fall short of expectations. And on that note, let's go on to three charts that just could give us a little insight into the week to come. As we always do, we're first going to look at a daily chart of the S&P 500 SPDR, symbol SPY. Of course, this is the exchange-traded fund that closely follows our benchmark S&P 500 index. Now, today when I captured this chart, the SPY was trading at $582.49, or about 58.24 on the S&P 500 itself. It slid just a little bit lower this week, down to the 20-day moving average again on Wednesday and Thursday, then bounced today so far, although we're seeing a little weakness come into afternoon trading, but we'll have to see how it closes. The SPY, we know, again this week, touched an all-time closing high, if you can see this little candle or not, on October 18th at $584.59. Now, again, it helps to look at the past to kind of help us see, hopefully, into the future. If we look back at our April lows back here at about 494, we know then that the SPY jumped 14 cents right up, or I'm sorry, 14% I should say, up here, up to its July highs at about 565. From there it dropped to the August 5th, and this was a heck of a fall. It dropped down to the August 5th open and gapping down pretty dramatically here at $511.64, then rallied dramatically for the next 3 weeks up to 565 back here, almost back up to July highs, then consolidated for the rest of August here, right about 564, 565. Then it rolled over on September 3rd, dipped below the 20-day and 50-day here, moving averages, then rallied again, walked up the 20-day, rallied up to the September highs up here, and down a little bit to the 20-day again, then back up to this new high I just talked about, and let's see, the all-time high. I'm looking for it again. October 18th again, excuse me, at 584.59 was the all-time high again right here. And where we are now, we're at 582.49. So we've got the 20-day, the red line coming in here right just a few points below where we are now at $577.29. We've got the green line, the 50-day moving average coming in at 566.90. I'll call it 567 to make life easier. We can look down here to the 200-day moving average coming in at 532. What I want to do here, because this is helpful, we know we kind of see what's happened since the April lows. But now let's draw a trend line and see where it ends up. And we can all agree, I think, this year that the 20-day moving average this year and part of last year from October has pretty much, this red line has been acting as a trend line, even looking left, unless price falls below it pretty hard. That 20-day has been a very useful trend line and a good one, because that's a short-term, basically, moving average, and it's been acting as a great trend line for the SPY and the QQQ and quite a few different market leaders. So that's a good thing that we've been in this uptrend, except for a few hair-raising dips here. That's a good thing. We're still above the 20-day moving average. So we do have, again, we do have resistance here at 586. So we have the trend line coming up here. We do have we can call this a trend line coming up, making higher highs. We can't argue with that. We've got a kind of a triangle here that's starting to narrow, and we know that there's going to be a breakout or breakdown pretty much one way or the other, because that's what happens when triangles start acting as a power cushion, a pressure cooker is what I'm trying to say on stocks. So there's going to be something come up here pretty soon, I would imagine, either breakout or breakdown. It's just the way things work. And we do have the August lows here, September low, at 540. We got the 200-day again coming in here at 532. As we said in the opening remarks, we have tech stocks announcing earnings in the coming week, and those earnings include Alphabet, Microsoft, Meta, Apple, and Amazon. That group there basically represents about 23% of the S&P 500. So what that group comes out with is going to be pretty darned important. And then, of course, and results could be up or mixed or down. We just don't know. We've never known that. So I would ask you here to mind your protective stops. Stay tuned. If we want to bottom line it and make it simple, we, of course, would like the SPY to stay above the 50-day moving average. That's pretty simple. And that's coming in at, we'll call it 567. So mind your protective stops, again, especially in the next coming week or so, and keep an eye on the SPY as we go through everything we're going to go through. And please know that during bull markets, 3 out of 5 will follow stocks will follow the S&P 500 higher, and if the market's moving lower, 4 out of 5 will follow it lower. So that's kind of a good thing to know too. Our next chart today is a daily chart of the Invesco QQQ, symbol QQQ. Of course, this is the exchange-traded fund that closely follows the NASDAQ 100, which is the top non-financial stocks, the top 100 non-financial stocks in the NASDAQ stock market. Excuse me, and of course, the NASDAQ is also home to the big tech stocks we just talked about, NVIDIA, Meta, Apple, that whole group. Now, when I captured this chart today, the QQQ was trading at 499.17. That's nicely above its 20-day, which is coming out just a little bit above the 20-day, which is coming in at about 490. The 50-day moving average is coming in at $480.56. And we know that the 200-day is coming in here at about 456. The all-time closing high that we still have back here, it's still the all-time closing high back in July, came in at all-time closing high, I meant to say, came in at $502.96. So the SPY has made new all-time highs in the last couple of months, but the Qs have not managed to do that, even though they're a lot of the big tech companies have really gained a lot. It's just the way it is here. So after making its low back here, look left on the chart with me, after making its low back here at 413 in April, now the Qs climbed to the all-time closing high I was talking to you about a second ago at $502.96. Then it rolled over dramatically, did quite a dramatic dumpster dive down here to the August 5th open, and that was below the 200-day at $424.71. So it gave up a bit of that past run up from April. However, as we know, the QQQ rebounded very dramatically right after that August 5th low, and it rebounded dramatically through the moving averages, made an August high up here at $484.54. Then that was a pretty big run. Then it rolled back over here, back down to a low at 448. Then back above the moving averages to the September high at 493. Oh, we just talked about this. I'm sorry. I've got so much to say here. Back up to down to 448, then back up through the moving averages to the September high up here at 493.70, then back down to the 20-day here, then again started walking along the 20-day moving average into October. It's kind of been going sideways here. And then finally gapped up today, again trading now at $499.17. So we can draw a trend line like this if we'd like to and see that it's coming up pretty tight into that 20-day moving average. We can draw a channel line up over these highs here and see that we have even a more dramatic triangle building here for the QQQs. So we do have potential support here. We've got 499 acting as pretty much right now of the resistance right here. We have that 20-day moving average. What I kind of worry about here, and maybe I shouldn't, is that the price is walking up the 20-day, but it can't step up much higher above it as it was. It's just kind of walking along on top of it with a kind of a small rise here. So really be interesting to see what these tech stocks do next week. We've still got this all-time high at 503, we're going to call it. Of course, we got the 50-day for potential support coming in at 480.56. I'll just call it 480 to make it easy. And then we have down here the September lows down here coming in at about 448, 450. We've got the 200-day moving average at 456. I am going to keep an eye, though, because it's just easy to do in the coming week on the 50-day moving average coming in at $480.56. Again, we know that in general, we don't want our indexes to fall below the 50-day moving average. Again, please mind your protective stops, especially in the next week or so, and know that, again, to be bullish, we want the Qs to stay above the 480 line. So be careful, mind your protective stops. That'll be a good thing. Our final chart today is a daily chart, something we haven't looked at, I don't think, maybe ever, I don't know. This is the VanEck Video Gaming and Esports ETF. ESPO is the symbol. I'll just call it ESPO. Again, of course, it's a daily chart. I kind of looked at this as something that, yes, it's technology, but it's kind of off the beaten path a little bit, which is kind of where I always like to be off the beaten path in a lot of earnings conditions. The symbol here is ESPO. It has 25 holdings. The top holdings include Tencent, AMD, NetEase, Nintendo, Electronic Arts, Roblox. Now, if we looked, and this is not that, but if we looked at a long-term monthly chart, which is what I do, as you know, before I go further with these, I look at a long-term monthly chart, and I can see that the ESPO made an all-time high in February of 2021 at $81.39. Then it retested in 2021 to $77, then dove to lows in 2022 to 38. So it came down, as a lot of things came down pretty dramatically during that time. Then rallied, then dove down to, and if you look down here, we can see the April lows. We'll look at it in a minute. But it did dive to lows in 2022 to $38, then rallied to where we are now, right here at $73.99. So just to look at this daily chart, look left with me again. If we look at April lows, That they came in down here in April. The ESPO came down to about $58. Then and most things came down in April. Then it bounced pretty dramatically to a May high here at 69. Then it dipped again down to the 20-day moving average, then made a June high, a little higher at 69.50, dipped again to the 20-day moving average, made a July high at almost 71, fell hard in August like everybody else did, then rallied back again to retest these prior highs here at 71. Then it broke out, we can see, in September to about 77, then dipped slightly and broke out in October to 77.37. So retested that high in a little bit, couldn't hang there, and then came back down after that 77.37 high in October, came back down here to touch the 50-day moving average coming in at 72.68, then rallied slightly in the last couple of days, very slightly to where we are now, again at $73.99. We can see here that it was overbought in the short term. The RSI was overbought, and you kind of, when you see it that overbought, you can pretty well guess. You can look left here with me too. I'll show you back in July. Look at where the RSI line came up over the 70 line, indicating that what we're looking at is overbought. We'll call it in the short term. We can see back here in May that the RSI line came up over the 70 line, and boom, down it came. So that can happen, and but now it's tapering. The RSI line is coming down a little bit, so is price has been coming down a little bit. So I'm going to watch this, the SPO. I think it's pretty interesting here. It is definitely techie, but it's not smack in the middle of all of what everybody's looking at. So I'm going to watch this. If in the coming week and I'm not going to be anxious to jump into the market next week if it looks like it's going to be extremely volatile. I don't have to do that. You know, you don't have to be. Being on the sidelines is okay too. Cash is a position. But anyway, I'm going to watch the ESPO in the coming week, and if it can stay above its 50-day moving average, again coming in here at 72.68, I will add, if everything's going well, a very small position of the ESPO to my trading portfolio. And I'm going to put a stop down here. See this dip here? I'm going to put a stop down here at 68.50. So again, I'm not going to have a lot of shares to start with. So let it go through a few more days and see how it fares. But I'm going to put my stop, very, very small position, my stop at 68.50. If and when the ESPO can come up here and rise above 75.50, I will add to my position, and my stop, of course, will be a trailing stop. So you may want to keep an eye on the SPO in the next week or two. And now, check out this news from ToniTurner.com. We've lowered the price of all of our online training programs to make them more accessible to everyone. So if you'd like to become a more profitable trader, now is a great time to check out my timeless training programs. How to Swing Trade Successfully, right here, is a three-part that's 7 steps. How to Swing Trade Successfully is a 3-part program in which you're going to discover how my swing trading setup, the Sleeping Tiger setup, the one that I use to trade swing trades all the time. And swing trades, by the way, usually last from about 3 to 7 days. And I like to say it's like taking your stock is in an uptrend, and so you buy when it starts up and sell before it starts down, like that. I love to do swing trading, and this is a great time to know how to swing trade too in this market. So you will discover how to find the stocks poised to rally, when to enter, and you'll find out the best time to grab profits. Our newly discounted price for this program is only $187, and you will receive special bonuses when you order, including the 1 month of Metastock daily charts or Metastock real-time charts, and those are the charts I use to show to you all. You'll get those for free. from our ever-popular 7 Steps to Successful Trading, again, to how to swing trade successfully, how to trade the trend to profits, love that one, how to read charts, great for novices, 3 winning setups, again, great for short-term traders, and another one of my favorites, how to bottom fish like a pro. Find out how these timeless online programs can help you earn more money quickly and easily. And once you purchase, you have unlimited access to learn at your own pace. So be sure to check them out by going to the link on this screen, or easier still, just click on the orange button below. Until next week, please be careful out there. Keep green on your screen. I'm Toni Turner, and this is The Market Now.